Number 3. This thing's tiny. Jesus, look at that. I might retrieve my hook. Whoop, hold up, everybody. There we go. Hey Paul, how's it going? Hey guys. Just playing around here. Never done this before. Just seeing what's going on here. That was my 3rd one. Just fishing trout, little, pink power worm, bobber deal. I believe this is my 2nd time trying live thing here, so I'm sure after this exhibition I put on today, YouTube will probably ban me for being some professional, but it was number 3. I brought my basket with me. I was going to keep a couple of them just in case they were decent size, but there's number 4. This one feels better. Maybe this is a nicer one. Let's see. They're all very small. But that's number 4 for the morning. Yes. This is a little pond. Well, damn, you can see it's not very big up there, down to there. I think it was stocked sometime last week. This is my first trout fishing of the season, so just giving it a whirl, see what happens. Yeah, back mountain. Holy geese. There's a major goose fight going on back there. Can you see that? Uh-oh, we're about to get number 5 here. Yep, there we go. Number 5. Should have my limit already if these things weren't so dang small. I did bring my basket to keep some. There we go. I think I caught the same fish 5 times. Let's see. Take him off right there. Look at that, he's missing an eyeball. Or his eyeball's like inside out or something. Alright, let's go again. Somebody was catching them here last night because when I walked up, there's like 2 or 3 dead ones laying in the water right below me here. I don't know, you probably can't see them, but down in here there were a couple, like straight down in here, there were a couple that were laying in there already dead. Yeah, 5 trout. Yeah, they're like, I don't know how to zoom this thing correctly, but they're like everywhere. They're jumping everywhere. I wasn't dumb. I knew I'd come to a place I could actually catch fish the first time I do a live thing here, so. None of the regular boys were on live this morning, Bob or Skeet or anybody, so I figured now's a good time for me to show up and play around. I don't know if I can zoom that a little better out there, but maybe I'll just leave it where it is. I start zooming stuff, I'm going to hey Hydra, what's up? Yeah, I'm using this bobber here. It's one of those bobbers that you can pull apart and full fill with water if you want to. And I don't have any water in it, but you just feed your line through it and twist it. It doesn't kink your line, it holds it right in place, and you can cast this thing a mile. And we got the old pink trout worm on here, which is already pretty beat up, but we'll just keep rehooking it. This rod's like 8 foot tall. It's a medium light Cabela's panfish rod, but it's awesome. This is fine. Okay, thanks guys. The size of these, it's going to be all catch and release today, so that's good. Here we go. Here's number 6. Yep, there he is. Ooh, feels like one's pulling a little harder actually. 6. Number 6, here we go. Come on up, there we go. Number 6, don't freak out. Hook it in the mouth with these little trout magnet jigs. Right back. There's enough slime on my hand, I don't have to worry about getting it wet. Just cast that thing out there and just kind of leave it sit and twitch it every now and again. The water's perfect too because it's discolored a little bit, you know. If it was super clear, they'd be a little more anxious, but all the rain we've had, things are a little discolored. Yeah, Brian, it really is. And this place is only like 20 minutes from my house. There we go. Bought that at number 7, I think. You just throw it out there and twitch it and twitch it and twitch it, and there's number 7. Ooh, there it is. Number 7. Good thing I got this vertical horizontal thing figured out as soon as I started catching fish. This one's actually a little bit nicer. But now that I'm on this catch and release thing, I don't feel like putting them in my basket. That's probably the nicest. Whoop. That's probably the nicest one so far. Whoa, 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 whoa. Just kissed the camera there. There we go. Right out. Right in. Ooh. That was a very... Hey, Dams, what's up? Hi, guys. Sorry, I'm probably missing half the things people are saying, but I'm too new at this. Yeah, Dams, I caught 7, I think, already. Now there's a little sprinkle in the air. I planned on coming to keep some. And sorry about the... Once I get more used to doing this, I'll start putting out the wrench things to make it easier for people to do stuff. But I think for today, I'm just going to pretend I know what I'm doing and keep catching these fish. Someone tell this guy to use a whopper plopper. Hey, Bob. Oh, dang. I was reading your comment, Bob, and I missed one. I caught 7 already. Bob, all your catch and cooks, there's number 8. All your catch and cooks, Bob, they inspired me to come trout fishing today. But it seems like they stocked this place with a lot of dinks, so I haven't kept one yet. Here's number 8. There he is right there, number 8. Nope. I got the hook out over here. Whoop, 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 easy there. It's raining, so I'm trying to do this over my shoulder. I just got somebody else's hook out of them too. Oh. Why is it raining? What the hell's going on here? Let me rinse that hand off a little bit. Never listen to chat, number 1. Well, Bob, I'm just very, uh-oh. That one might not make it. I might have to put him in the basket. Hook this thing back up here one way or another. Look how professional that is. Whoop. Got another one. Damn geese. I know I am. Morning, Len. How you doing? Bob, these really would be because they're so dang small. There's like a major goose WrestleMania going on out here too, by the way. I was thinking the exact same thing. Yeah, double tap the screen for me. What the heck? This was very spur of the moment. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go catch some trout today. And Bob, I saw your thing saying you weren't going to be on this morning maybe, and Skeeter wasn't on, so I thought, oh, what the heck. I'm going to give this a whirl. Had anything, yeah, I caught 8 trout so far. They're literally this dam here. As you can see, it only goes that far. And it only goes like that far back there. Yeah, I read your post this morning, and I was thinking about doing this last night because I've been wanting to come catch some trout. I've got to give the jacks a little break for the day, I think. This worm is beat. And I just figured, what the heck. The only thing I have on my agenda today is filing my taxes, so I'm in no hurry to do that. I just missed one. Nothing like waiting until the last day. I know I'm going to owe money, so I wait till the very last day since I do my taxes at home by myself. I'm in no hurry to pay them any more money. And there's a lot of fish in here. It's crazy. Matthew. Oh yeah, Matthew, I caught 8. Sorry, I might have answered you already. Might need to put a new worm on. Figures the one day I decide to do this, I'm catching fish, and there's 8 geese over here completely raising hell. It's like, I don't even know that I've ever seen a goose here before. Now there's 8 of them over here having a no holds barred falls count anywhere match. I'm surprised they even have a signal here. Usually when I'm here, I come here on Saturday evening sometimes, because it's equidistant between my house and my favorite pizza place. Oh. And I have a hard time calling them on the phone and telling them I'll give them my order before I leave. So this is actually working out pretty good. Might need to put a new worm on. This one's beat. I ended up catching 10 pike yesterday. When Bob was on live, I was on there telling him how slow it was. And from like 11 to about 12:30, I think I caught 4 or 5 more. That's how it always goes, though. See, sometimes that bobber gets a little bit of water in there by itself, but this thing here is clear. They can't see it. Cast it a mile. This worm was just had it, man. Let's try one more. Let's see. Looks like a creature worm now. It's got legs on it. I'll cast my way over there. There we go. Oh man, that thing hit. I must have threw it right into its mouth. There we go. This is number 9. See, this is what happens though. I come to a place and I'll hammer trout in the morning, and then I get spoiled. And I think every time I go trout fishing, I should catch 15. I've only been here for about 30 minutes. And I promise they didn't just stock it yesterday. I think they stocked it like last Thursday or something. Easy there, brother. Easy. Hey, Dodo. What's up? I recognize some names here. Sorry, I'm probably not paying attention. This rod, I think I can cast completely across the lake if I wanted to. This is perfect. No wind, overcast, on and off drizzle. Uh-oh, there's about to be another one here. Something's breathing on it out there. Something's breathing on it. Oh, missed him. Oh, Len, I did see Len, I did see your first flathead the other day. What was that, yesterday morning? I did see that. I've been doing a lot of watching in the morning and not chatting as much because I have it on like while I'm doing things. I'm off work this week, mainly because I'm usually fishing, but I did see that, Lynn. Dang it. Skipjack Cindy, good morning. It's so weird being on the other side of this. I think it's time for a new worm. It's so weird being on the other side of this. Gotta put a new worm on. Alright, put that in there. Stick the jig head in my mouth. I don't like how they're all connected in there. For as much as those things cost, you'd think they could cut them into individual worms for you, you know? Thank you. I've watched Skipjack Cindy fish for catfish. So everyone knows, I'm very jealous of all these great catfish spots you all have. If I want to go catch a big catfish like you guys, I gotta drive forever. As Bob says, I live on the wrong side of Pennsylvania. At 20th, oh Bob, I think I'm already there. Don't worry, Bob, at some point I'll hook a nice one. I'll probably slip and fall into the lake. This is not going to go completely smooth, don't worry. Or my car won't start, one or the other. There's something on there. Dang it. How was it with you and Travis? Paul Bridge, yes, goes very well. Cindy, thank you for asking. I gotta stop reading it out loud. These are inside voice. I should turn this way and fish a little bit too. Some over here. A lot over here. There we go. Hey Subi, what's up? Catching rainbow trout. Looks like they were all made from a cookie cutter. It's still fun. Man, the trout I was catching in the fall, not here, at a different place. The other trout lake I usually go to. Every trout I caught last fall was like 15 or 16 inches, like legitimately 15 and 16 inches. They were the nicest trout I've ever caught all at one time like that. It was crazy. Was not expecting rain, but whatever. I said it wasn't going to go smooth. Hey, Fishing with Steve, how are you doing? Good morning. Just catching some trout, Steve. I just saw your name pop up in there. I forget how many I got. I think I got like 9 or something. I'm getting bites on every single cast. It's like throwing into a hatchery. There's so many. But they're just grabbing the tip of that worm and not really taking off with it. Hello from Russia. Oh man, holy cow. How's things in Russia these days? There's some good fishing in Russia, that's for sure. Seen it on TV. I'm in western Pennsylvania. I mean, I'm literally biting it on every single cast. There we go. Trying to set the hook right away so I lip hook them. With the size of these, I have no desire to keep any. I still have trout heads in my freezer from last year for bait, so I don't need any of those. There we go. I think she's still in the water. All right. Easy, easy, easy. Now there's a little bit of a heavier rain coming down. don't even know where it's coming from. There's like blue sky above me. What the hell is going on here? Look at this. Ridiculous. Oh, my phone's going to get wet. That's not going to be good. That's not going to be good for business. And I'm not wearing a coat either. It was like 65 degrees and clear sky when I left my house. This bike keeps up. I might stay a while. I only planned on fishing for like 2 hours. I was going to keep some and eat them today, but now I'm losing interest in that, so. Uh-oh, there we go. There it is. Missed them again. Feeling any better, Steve? I know yesterday you said you were recuperating or taking it easy or something. Hopefully you're feeling better. One of these years I'll get up to the meetup. It just wasn't my year, that's for sure. I was off Saturday too. I mean, that's specifically why I started a vacation that week. I started a week off on Sunday and I took Saturday off, like specifically for that. But one thing led to another, and a sick dog having issues just didn't, nothing was cooperating. They used to stock this dam with channel cats. There's a high school, like a vocational school that's not too far from here, and they used to have a pond, and they used to raise channel cats in it, and they would bring them over and stock them in here. That ended a long time ago, but there's some pretty big bass, the occasional big bass in here. But this is also where I come when I want to catch bluegills for catfish bait. You can come here and catch 50 in about 15 minutes in the summertime. That's good to hear, Steve. Good to hear. Of course, I got a carp today. What? You got a carp already? You're out. You're fishing? Or of course you mean you're going for carp today? Oh, okay. I didn't know you were on, Bob. Of course you got one. I was, well, hey. I knew you'd be on. When I see you put a post up saying you don't think you're going to be live and you're not going to be fishing, somehow I know you're going to be fishing. Oh, not live. Okay, I got you. I knew you'd be fishing, though. I'll be out there. That's how it goes. That's what I figured was going to happen here, Bob. I thought, well, the one day I come out here and I do this thing to catch fish on here, I wouldn't get anything. I kept thinking that the whole drive out here. And then I couldn't figure out the horizontal vertical thing. I was like struggling. I was on 2 different times, and then I think I had to switch my mount around to get it straight. There we go, there's a bite. I had to switch the mount, which is this thing I've had forever. I've just never used it, so I wasn't sure how to do it. But I need to get one of them hickeys that's like magnetic, I guess. There's a fish on that thing. There we go. Oh, yeah, I got him. Trying to set the hook as early as I can. This one feels real small. Might be a bluegill. No. All right, come on, set it down. What? Right off. I don't know what number that is. Is that 10? I'll throw it right on top of that one's head and watch the clear bobber disappear. Oh, it's close. Yep, there he is. Ooh, there he goes. Rainbow trout, yeah, John. All rainbow trout. Literally looks like I've caught the same fish 10 times. Whoop. Quick release. There he goes. Yeah, touch that one. It counts. 11. Thanks, Bob. Thanks for correcting me. And of course, the day I bring my basket, I do have my basket back here. I have my basket here because I planned on keeping some. And they're all slimmers. At least that rain quit. That was annoying. Yeah, Bob, it was weird yesterday. I was complaining that I caught all my fish early and then things slowed down, and then I got hammered with a bunch of bites. I ended up catching like 4 or 5 pike right before I left. I caught 3 that were about 27, 28 inches yesterday. No more bass though. Haven't caught a crab. Usually catch some decent crappies there when I try for them. Didn't catch any of those yet. We get them here. Yeah, they usually put nice fish in here. I think they stocked this place last week after the first day, and they put a pile of fish in here, as you can see. I mean, they're coming up literally all over the lake. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's fish everywhere in here. It gets a ton of pressure. That's why I got here first thing in the morning. You come here this afternoon, they'll be elbow to. There we go. There's number 11. Oop, they got off. They'll be elbow to elbow around here this afternoon when it's 80 degrees, and nothing will be biting at that point, though. Gotta get out early. I was surprised there was only one other guy here when I got here. I'm in Pennsylvania, western Pennsylvania. I'm like an hour east of Pittsburgh. I'm right in the middle between where all the good catfish rivers are. I either have to go to Pittsburgh to fish for the big catfish, or I have to go 3 hours the other way to the Susquehanna or Schuylkill River or places down there. I've never been down that way. I have been, but I haven't fished down that way. But I'm right in the heart of no big catfish territory, besides some channel cats. John, I'm using like a clear casting bobber with a pink Berkeley trout worm on it. With a little trout magnet jig head. I just throw it out there under about 2.5 feet under that bobber, and just let it sit there and just twitch it every now and again. Sometimes you don't have to move it. Sometimes you can just leave it sit there and they grab it. Even in the lake. Just leave it sit still and they'll still grab it. When I came up, there were a couple trout laying around the bank here that looked like they were caught and released last night, but I don't see them here now. Maggots and bramble worms. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've watched those guys in overseas fishing, and they use those there's like little clusters of maggots and stuff. They use like the little unless I'm thinking of something else, they use like the little rubber bands, and they stick it down in like the maggots and the bait and like close it, and it like closes the bait around their hook. Unless I'm thinking of something else. North Carolina. Nice, Jeremy. Almost moved to North Carolina when I was a kid. My dad got a job when I was a kid at the University of North Carolina, and we were all going to move down there back in the 80s. And it was too expensive to buy a piece of ground and build a house down there, so he didn't take the job and we stayed here. Swim feeder. Okay. Swim feeder. There we go, there's another one on it. They're bumping it on every cast. I don't think I've made a cast yet that I haven't got a bite on it, but they're just, some of them take it and take off with it, and other ones just come up and they grab the tip, and that dirty water, the cloudy water, they kind of just swim up to it and take a swipe at it sometimes. I don't doubt that, Jeremy. We were going to be right by Raleigh. It was an area, I even remember the name of the area we were looking at a piece of ground in. The area was called Aberdeen Downs or something like that. Hard to believe that was like 40 years ago, and I can still remember it. And the one thing I remember about it was we were looking at a lot. It was a wooded lot. I can imagine that area now is all developed, but it was a wooded lot, and there was a nice creek flowing right down the side of it that was full of like minnows and bait fish. And I was very excited. I was like 8 years old, and I kept telling my dad, "We got to buy this place. This is the one. Look at all the minnows and things in this creek here." It was crazy expensive. I remember we spent a week down there just traveling around looking for homes and lots and places to build a house. It was just too expensive. But like I said earlier, there's World War III of geese going on back here. It's like WrestleMania for geese back here today. They're going ape. Here's what I'm using right here. You can see that. Yeah, right there. That's it. There's a guy off the back over to my right. He's catching fish too. I think he's using bait. Thomasville, about an hour from Raleigh. Yeah, it was nice. It was like a nice little place. I wonder I always think about how my life would have changed if when I was 8 years old I would have moved to North Carolina. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, me and my brother and sister could have all went to school there, either free or very cheap. My dad was going to be the head of maintenance there at that university. Or assistant head of maintenance, one of those things. It was a good job, but just couldn't afford to move down there. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. I just realized this might... Oh, that one took my worm. This put me up to 350 subscribers, Bob. So you better look out. I think I was at 348. There's power bait in that bag, but I have no intentions on using it today. I got wax worms in there too, but I'm not going to use those either. Play a little game called Just a Tip, right down through the tip. I like these new Trout magnet jig heads. They have a little barb on the back side of that shaft. It kind of holds it in place. That's it. What's expensive now? North Carolina, or the school? I'm imagining. Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure that was actually part of the deal. We could have went to school there for free or like greatly reduced price. I can't remember that exact detail. I think that was part of the reason they wanted to move down there so much, but this wasn't feasible back then. There we go. There's number... Oh, I missed them. Came off. Okay, Bob, thanks. I appreciate you hanging out. Just missed one. Had one on there for a second. I love this rod. I think I said that already. This is an 8-foot Cabela's panfish rod. It's medium light. And this is an old Gander Mountain series reel. This rod is so awesome for trout fishing in lakes. It's a good steelhead rod too. I haven't steelhead fished in years, but it's a good rod for that. It's like perfect. I discovered these bobbers this year. These clear things. These are awesome. A little bit of water leaks into it because that plug isn't super tight, but man, these things are pretty nice. These trout keep biting. I'm not going to want to leave here and go to the gym, that's for sure. Get my upper body workout in, reeling in these 10-inch trout. I'm shocked that there's 12 people watching me do this. Thank you. I considered doing it a few times when I was out pike fishing, but that would get kind of boring, I think. There we go. There's one. There we go. I just need to catch like a giant palomino or something like that, or a golden. I don't want to say palomino. This one feels a little thicker. Yeah, that might be the nicest one so far. That might be the nicest one so far. Catch a huge brown or something. Yeah, Jeremy. Ask Bob from anything as possible there. I think he prefers the red ones. I have some of those too, but I mean, they're just amazing. Not just for trout. You can catch panfish on them, bass, and any little thing. They're worth the price, that's for sure. Just keep the bag zipped when you're using them. Just keep that bag zipped shut. Because if you leave them in your tackle bag or pocket or something, you leave that bag cracked open, it'll get a little stiff sometimes. Hello, brother. How are you doing? Nice to see you. Hey, John Boy, what's up? John Boy, the Opal King. Gotcha. Appreciate you coming in, John Boy. I think I've caught, I want to say 11 trout so far, rainbow trout. Oh, there's a bite right there. Yep. There we go. There's, I think this is number 12. That's either 12 or 13. I don't remember. Crappie. Yeah, Jeremy. I've been pike fishing a lot since the beginning of March, since the ice came off. I've been on a years-long mission to catch a 40-inch pike around here. I caught one this year, my biggest. I caught it Saturday. It was a little under 35. It's probably like 34 inches. And there's another trout right there. Look at that one. Half his gill plate's missing. He's still hungry. But where I pike fish, when the pikes start moving out, crappies moving. Usually. Big crappies. And I've caught them in there. I mean, I've sat them on top of a lid of a 5-gallon bucket, and they take up about 75% of it. So when the pikes start thinning out, you see the area I do my pike fishing in, crappies will start moving in, bass, catfish, but they're all bullheads. There's no channel cats, but there were some guys out there yesterday who were fishing for crappies. They didn't catch any, and I have yet to see one caught. So I think we're probably about a week and a half away from those crappies coming in. They won't come in and set up shop until the pike are starting to thin out. But right at the end of the pike bite is when the numbers go down, but the size goes up. There we go. There's a bite. I'll probably be back out after them tomorrow morning. I might try this again tomorrow morning, this live thing. But I use a lot of live and just dead bait for pike. I don't throw any lures really. I could, but I use a lot of big minnows and dead bait, frozen smelt. I guess I could do like a sit and watch the rods deal. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a lot of channel cats. I can catch channel cats at a couple places around here, but if I want to catch big ones, like big catfish, I have to drive either towards Pittsburgh or towards Harrisburg, Philadelphia way. There, Jesus, look at that one. That thing jumped. That thing, I didn't even set the hook and it jumped. Got that bite, and when I set the hook, it jumped and hooked itself. That's crazy. All right, there we go. Look at that. 13, 14, I don't remember. Yeah, my channel cat, the place I go for channel cats now is a lake that's about an hour from my house. It's loaded with channel cats now. I've caught a couple pretty big ones there. You don't catch the numbers, but when you catch one, it's usually pretty good size. I don't have that like awesome go-to place that's really close anyhow. I've eaten some channel cats. When we first started going to the Allegheny River years ago, we kept some back then and filleted them. And my dad and my mom used to go to South Carolina. Every summer they would go to Santee Cooper and go on catfishing charters. They catch blues and some flatheads. And the guide they would go through, he would fillet them all for them and clean them all. And they'd come back with like a cooler full of fillets. I tried them. I never went with them. That was well after I moved out, of course. Okay, Melwin. I can't see that name. Mel. It's going good. I think I've caught like 13 rainbow trout. Been fishing for about an hour. I was live before this, but the first 2 attempts didn't go so well. So I think I've been on now for about 45 minutes, and I've caught like 13 rainbow trout. My plan was to come and keep 5 and fillet them and have some this afternoon, but these things are just, I don't know. They're certainly big enough to fillet and eat. I don't know. I don't get turned on by them unless they're a little nicer than this. High Rock Lake. Yeah, I think I've heard of it. Where the sun's really going to come up over here. That might blind you. I won't look that way. I'll try to keep looking this way. There's a guy fishing over to my right. I think he finally put a bobber on. I think after about the first 10, he couldn't take it anymore. Yeah, they used to go to Santee Cooper on a guide on a big pontoon, and they'd catch tons of blues and flatheads, and they kept them all too. I mean, if they wanted them, if the person wants them, they could keep them all. And the guys my dad would go with, they would fillet them all. They just had to take a cooler. Hey, Rural Route, J-Town, what's up? I'm fishing for rainbow trout. There's number, oh boy, that's a little one. Jesus. I could put this one in my aquarium, I think. I think this is 13 or 14. Whoop. I guess he's no smaller than the other ones. Oh, there he goes. There he is. Oh, easy, easy. There we go. Catching trout. Get that one way over there. It's a good thing about using this bobber. You can really deep sea fishing 50 miles off the shore. I did that once when I was in Florida. We went on a guided trip. We went, oh boy, 20 miles off the coast or something like that. We had to go really far. I remember we left Ponce Inlet in Daytona Beach, Florida, and our boat ride out to the fishing area was 2 hours. But we slammed fish the whole time. We were trolling and catching amberjacks, and we caught one really big wahoo. But we used to catch tons of fish off the beach and the pier and stuff. I loved going to Florida. I caught a nice shark off the one pier too. It was a long time ago. I haven't been to the ocean in years. Hey JG, what's up? Atlantic Beach, Morehead City. Yeah, we used to go to Daytona Beach. I would fish off the beach every morning. The Halifax River is right there. Used to fish the Halifax River every morning and go down to the main street, the big pier on the boardwalk, and fish every night. It's basically the only reason I ever went. We used to go to Florida every year, and that's all I wanted. That's all I ever wanted to go there for, was to fish. I'd get up at 4 in the morning and fish till 9 o'clock. I'd come home and sleep. Didn't do much through the afternoon except for screw around out at the ocean on the beach, and then I was fishing every night. Got a little bit of a twist going on here. I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah. Ocean City would be about the closest place for me to go, I guess. I fished in the Halifax River one morning. I was using some kind of big cut bait. God only knows what kind of fish it was. And I still had some pretty heavy duty gear back then. And I just remember getting a bite standing there. I held my rod up and it literally screamed all the line right off the reel, right down to the knot, and snapped it. I never stood a chance. All I could do was stand there and hold the rod. I have no idea what it was. It was a big piece of cut bait about half the size of one of these trout. It just pulled me straight down to the knot. It was like a 7.5 foot surf fishing rod. Probably at the time was only 20 or 30 pound mono. And I just stood there and held the rod, and it just ripped all the line straight off, right down to the knot, snapped it, and that was it. No clue what it was. The Halifax River was great. It was brackish water. There was everything in there. You'd see dolphins in there, like swimming around, like porpoises or whatever. You'd see everything in there. I think the fish I was actually using for cut bait, I think the statute of limitations is passed. I think it was a little redfish. I think it was a little redfish that I had like cut the head off of, and I just chunked it on the biggest hook I had, and I whaled it out. When you're like 16 or 15 or 16 years old, that far away fishing, I guess I wasn't paying attention to the rules and regulations. I just remember catching a little fish next to this wooden dock, and it had swallowed the hook, so I cut its head off, and just threw it in. Comes the rain again. That's beautiful. That was a bite right there. Oh, dang it. Somehow I think I've gotten a little too much leader. I'm going to shorten this leader up a little bit. So how you fix this thing is you just pull this plunger out, and you untwist it. It straightens out that tube in the middle, and then you can just slide your line through it. Wow. I'm like the middle of a heavy downpour now. This is awesome. Like getting drenched. See, this is Mother Nature's way of telling me I shouldn't be doing this. Of course, I don't bring a jacket. My phone's getting soaked. Hey Kyle, what's up? This is ridiculous, man. Look at that. Good thing I bought extra clothes to wear to the gym after I'm done here. Phone's gonna get wet. What the hell? It's gonna screw up the bite too. Uh, Kentucky, I caught like 12 or 13 rainbow trout. Yeah, these things are pretty cool. They have smaller sizes of them too. I bought them at my local bait shop, but I think you can buy them online and stuff too. What the hell is going on with this rain? This is ridiculous. Getting freaking drenched. This is ridiculous. I'm literally getting drenched. Might have to make a run for it. Look at this. Getting soaked. Absolutely getting soaked. This was not in the forecast either, by the way. There's like no chance of rain at all. Bob, I swear to God, there was no chance of rain when I left my house. Like, it was clear skies. I can't even see where this rain's coming from. I swear to God, I left, it was clear skies. It was 60 some degrees. For the second time in 48 years, I decided to go live fishing. And I'm catching fish and I just got soaked down to my underwear. I don't know how wet that looks, but if I can wipe that off. Let me see if I can wipe it off. I have a towel in here somewhere. I guess it didn't help that I left my bag sitting open too. 1 second here. Just left my bag sitting open so everything got wet. Oof. Undo all that. Okay. Trying to wipe the lens thingy off. There we go. Maybe that's better. Hey, good morning, Whisker Bent. What's up? Trout fishing. I just got soaked down to my underwear, practically. You're allowed to say underwear on YouTube? Yeah, Whisker, I'm catching rainbow trout in this dam here. Next thing I'm going to do is go back and feed some Alka-Seltzers to those geese. Just kidding. Thank you, Jeremy. He probably has the same opinion of me that I do. That was a refreshing downpour. Look at those trout jumping clear. I don't know if you can see. I don't know how well you can see, but there's literally trout jumping 3 feet out of the water right next to where my bobber is out there. Excuse me, my casting. That rain may have stirred them up. Maybe I'll change color and put a red one on. At least I was smart enough to wear boots today. I didn't wear my regular shoes. Let's get serious here. If I leave here and go to the gym, it's going to look like I already worked out when I walked in. I'm going to be soaking wet. I might just go in and stand in front of the hand dryers for a while. Oh, here comes the rain again. What the hell is going on here? Yeah, ridiculous. Got a bite too. Jesus. It's hard to see that clear bobber out there when it's raining. That is one thing. There we go. I got him. In the rain. In the rain. Whisker, I'm in Western PA. I'm over by Pittsburgh, Whisker. That's a nice one there, actually. That's probably the nicest one. Bobber slipping down the line. Might be the nicest one of the morning right there. In the rain as I get soaked. Right there. Not bad. That's probably the nicest one. Yeah, Whisker. I'm like Whisker. I'm only like I guess maybe 2 hours from Skeeter, and like 3.5 hours from where Bob is in Pennsylvania. Something like that. I would agree with you, Whisker, but believe it or not, I'm actually a Boston Bruins fan. More than I'm a Penguins fan. This rain is insane. I can't. I just literally can't get over this. But the Penguins are playing the Flyers, so I mean, I like the Penguins. I'm not against the Penguins, but I'm a Bruins fan. This is insane. This rain. I mean, I haven't fished in rain this hard since the 8th grade picnic. I mean, this is ridiculous. I'm soaked. Yeah, I'm a Boston Bruins fan. Don't ask me why. Been a Bruins fan. Well, I think a lot of it had to do with the hockey team, the East Coast Hockey League team that used to be in Johnstown, the Chiefs. The Bruins, they were a farm team of the Bruins back in the day. Flyers, yeah. One of my favorite ex-hockey players played for the Flyers, Ron Hextall. If you remember Ron Hextall, he was a goalie from like the 80s for the Flyers. I loved Ron Hextall. I wasn't a Flyers fan, but I loved him. There we go. Oh, missed him. Hey, Anthony, what's up, buddy? I'm out here catching trout, Anthony. Rainbow trout. I think I caught 13 or something like that. My worm is just ripped. Man, they are tearing these freaking worms up. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to rip this top half off. Throw that in my bag. I'm just going to use the bottom half for now. At least I can get a decent hook into it, I think. This might be all I need anyhow. That's it right there. And I'm getting poured down rain on, so. Been exhilarating. Hextall. Oh, I loved Hextall. He was the first goalie, I think, to score a goal in the NHL. If not the first, he was one of the first to score a goal. Plus, he used to get in fights. I loved him. Lemieux fan. Well, I held a grudge against the Penguins for years because in back-to-back years, back in the 90s, they eliminated Boston from the playoffs. If you can remember those years. So I always held a grudge against the Penguins for that, but I've gotten over it. I'm a Penguins fan now. I like the Penguins. I'll watch that series. Playoff hockey is great. Playoff hockey is like really nice to watch. I won't get to watch a ton of it, but I'll watch some of it. I haven't even moved spots. This is great. Ron Hextall. He actually came to work for the Penguins, which is crazy. He was like an office guy for the Penguins for a while, I believe. I don't think he still is, but he was for a little while. It's the same colors at least. Yeah, that's true. That is true. I played hockey when I was a kid, and I had I was a goalie, and I had the mask painted in black and yellow, and everybody thought it was because I was a Penguins fan. I was a Bruins fan though. Whew. Thank God it's not windy. I'd be freezing right now, being so soaked. Yeah, I don't get to watch much either. My television, I don't watch a lot of regular TV. I only have like the basic cable package. I think I get like 15 channels. Everything I watch is streaming. You know, it's either YouTube or, you know, I use my ex-girlfriend still lets me use her Netflix account. If I watch, I'll watch it, but I spend most of my time watching people fish on YouTube. Hey, cue the wind. As soon as I say, at least it's not windy. Well, besides me getting drenched, I'd say this one pretty well. Yeah, I have a bunch of those apps. There's a few shows I watch. I don't watch a lot of like most of the stuff I watch is old stuff. I'm still watching Seinfeld. I'm still watching reruns of Seinfeld. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm actually a little chilly now that I'm completely soaked. There we go. That's a bite. Oop. Trying to set the hook on these things. Rain has stopped. Yeah, it has. Thankfully. There's a bite. Come on. There we go. There was another one. There we go. There we go. I don't even own a poncho. How about that? All right. Oh man. All right. Let me this guy here. The release slipped right out of my hand. It's kind of the good thing with using these whole worms and these jig heads. You can't blow it down to their tails. You can release about 99% of them pretty easily. I have a raincoat that should be in the truck or car in my case. I haven't used my truck for fishing this entire spring because it's still full of stuff. The back of my truck is still full of tools and stuff from cleaning out my mom's house over the winter. Empty that out. Oh, here comes the rain again. This is unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Let me wipe this down here. There we go. This is all starting to dry out. Re-soak me down a little bit. I gotta get one of them holders that's magnetic. I guess those things work pretty good. I don't know. I think I'd be able to see my screen a little bit better. Man, this is just... I just can't believe this. I mean, this is just crazy. The only thing about this rain, it shut the geese up a little bit. You'd think after catching like 13 of these things and getting soaked, I'd just leave. When the fish are biting, you can't do it. You just can't leave. One of these trees could fall, get struck by lightning and fall down in the water next to me, and I'd be like, oh, I ought to draw some fish in. I mean, I'm already wet. I guess I can't get any wetter. Just hopefully my phone doesn't get messed up. I'm like standing in a spot here that's like turning into a swamp. lightning will quit for the day. Yeah, well, I should preface that by saying, yeah, if it starts lightning, I'd leave. But they weren't even calling for rain. I mean, it's supposed to get to like 80 degrees today, and they said the rain was going to be in the afternoon because of how warm it was going to get. There was no mention of torrential, steady rains at 8 o'clock in the morning. I can guarantee you that. I would have been a little more prepared. There's way over there where that open ground is. There's two bobbers that are just like hanging out over there. They must be broke off and just like they haven't moved since I got here. And there's about a dozen hanging in this tree down to my left. Might put a different color on. Tornado warnings, Jesus. Actually, I think there was something like that going on around here. We had some, there we go, there's a bite. We had some heavy rains a couple of weeks ago, and there were some pretty strong, there we go, there's one. There were some pretty strong storms coming through. Yeah, I'll miss them, tearing them up there. Probably catching too many. The next time I do this, I'll probably catch one. Oh, there goes my worm. That's great. I was going to change to a red one anyhow. Change it up. This is a really little one. Jeez. I could put this in my pond. I could put this in my patio pond at home. I'm going to put a red one on. There we go. Let me try a red one. I think Berkeley could buy a cutting machine and cut these so you don't have to try to tear them apart with wet hands. Or make packages that actually open. Oh, my stuff's getting soaked. It's awesome. That piece of worm floats in close enough, I'm going to grab it. All right, Anthony, take care, buddy. Appreciate you coming in. I don't know how long I've been on, about an hour and 10 minutes. If this rain keeps up, I might have to bail. Ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. Once you're wet, I guess you can't get any wetter. Maybe I can, I guess. This is horrendous. I mean, look at this. Can you believe this? I may be bailing on this here shortly. This is too much. I'm going to give one more cast here, and I think I'm bailing. Unless it quits in a hurry. Yes, I know I'm live. Well, I can catch fish, I just can't catch a break, you know. There's always something, Whisker. You know, if I go out in the morning and have a great day fishing, you know, I'll come home with my dog will be limping around. Or if I'm out in the morning catching fish and decide to go live on YouTube for the first time in a year, I get completely drenched. You know, things have a way of evening themselves out. You're not going to have too good of a day. When I say I'm wet, I mean I am dripping. Yeah. I am dripping. Probably going to need a new phone after today. I'll throw this way out there. They're like, what happened to your phone? Well, I went trout fishing for the first time, and torrential storms the whole time. Well, it's supposed to be 85 and sunny. It's ridiculous. I'm not going to wring my shirt up. Well, like I said, it's a good thing to have. I actually have, I'll make sure the camera's off. Yeah, there's nothing here to get under. I mean, I could climb back up the hill here and go up to the car. By the time I get up there and get under those pine trees, it would stop. Ooh, excuse me. I think I just burped on live television. Something not professional. Yeah, Magoo, I think I caught 13 or 14 rainbow trout so far. I've been at it for about an hour and 15 minutes or so. The big story has been I got torrentially downpoured on like 3 times. Up until currently, it's still raining. But the fish are still biting, so I love the punishment. I remember me and my buddy night fishing one time for catfish. It was raining so hard. He was wading out in the water. He got snagged up on a tree. He was reeling in a catfish. It was raining so hard. I was standing on the bank underneath the pine trees, and I was looking out at the water, and I couldn't even see him standing in the water. But we didn't leave. We stayed. The visual was like a wall of water coming down from the sky, and him standing out about knee deep in water with about a 13 or 14 inch bullhead. Willie Dotson, I'm on the bus. All right, Willie. I hope it's the fun bus. What happened here? At least that guy over there has a coat on. He's probably looking at me over here talking to myself, getting soaked, thinking I'm a complete idiot. Turkey hunting. That's coming up here soon. Next Saturday or the Saturday after. I don't turkey hunt. I can turkey call really good though. I don't even need to use any calls. I can just turkey call with my mouth. I'm pretty good, but I don't turkey hunt. All spring where I'm out pike fishing at the place I go out there, I'll have turkeys gobbling at me the whole time. I'll be calling them. I called in last year, the year before. I was standing there fishing. I turned around. It was about 10 feet behind me, just standing there. Haven't heard any gobbling yet. Not out there. I used to go to those outdoor shows and walk around, and there'd be guys like selling all those turkey calls and using them, and I'd just walk around with my mouth and start turkey calling. They'd be like, "Oh, that's pretty good. What are you using?" And I'm like, "My lips." If I can only deer call with just my mouth, that'd be different. It'd be much more useful to me. I don't know. The red worm doesn't seem to be as effective. Maybe I should have stuck with a pink. Just need to catch a 1 on it. If I catch a 1 on this red worm, I'll be convinced it's going to work as well as the pink one. I have white ones too. White ones, pink ones, red ones. Might have yellow too. I don't know. Keep raining off and on like this. This place will muddy up quick. Everything runs downhill in this place. Very muddy right where I'm standing. There we go. Oop, I'm good. Missed him. I gotta figure out how to shut my notifications off whenever I'm doing this. I accidentally dropped my screen down and there's a whole freaking thing of text messages and stuff people are sending me. They have no idea what I'm doing. There's one that just jumped right here. Let's see if I can catch one right in front of me here. Right there. Let's see if I can catch one right there. I don't know, when you go live, can you put like hashtags on your live or something like that so people, I don't know how any of that works. Oh, there we go. Yep, right there, right in front of me. Right there. That's crazy. I think that's the one I saw jump. Whoop. Quick release. That sucker stole my worm too. What the heck's going on here? It's like the third worm I've won. Everything's bizarre today. The guy that works for me goes to PA to hunt turkey. Whisker, I'm in the Johnstown, Cambria County area of Pennsylvania. Somerset, yep, that's just south of me. It's like real close to me. Yeah. Kind of where I'm at, like where I live is like a close, like there's counties that all kind of intersect real close to that. Don't pay attention to those waxworms in there. I'm not using those today. I'm in Pennsylvania, Magoo. Western Pennsylvania. I'm about an hour east of Pittsburgh. And this is just a little local state stock dam. It's about 20 minutes from my house. In case you missed it earlier, I got torrentially rained on like at least 3 or 4 times. So the fact that I've caught central Minnesota, nice. Is that a bite or is that the wind? Now the wind's kicking up. So I'm soaked, completely soaked, and now the wind's gonna kick up and freeze me. Central Minnesota. That's up in Bay Winkleman, Al Linder country. Minnesota. The Inn Fisherman and Al Linder, Babe Winkleman. I think Babe Winkleman was from Minnesota. Man, I used to love watching those shows when I was a kid. I haven't watched fishing shows in a long time. I just don't get the channels they're on anymore, but I used to watch all those guys. Babe Winkleman, the Inn Fisherman, Jimmy Houston, Bill Dance, Tom Mann, Hank Parker, Roland Martin. I probably watched those fishing shows more than I did homework in school. The Lingers, the roaches. I remember being a kid watching Bill Dance, and he would have commercials on his show for Walmart. And back then I didn't know what Walmart was. That's how long I've been watching Bill Dance. Bill Dance would have commercials for Walmart. He'd be like showing fishing gear and camping or hunting, whatever the gear was, and he'd say at Walmart. And I'd be like, what the heck is Walmart? My dad would be like, we don't have those around here. All we had were Kmart's. Now everybody knows what Walmart is. I think it's another one right here in front of me. Just give it a little twitch. Anybody know what time it is? I don't want to touch my screen and screw something up. If anybody can tell me what time it is, that'd be cool. Look at that one right there. Right next to my blobber. I'm not on any kind of time schedule, but there we go. Evidently it's time for it to start raining again. Yeah, if I wasn't on here doing this, there'd be a lot more cursing going on. imagine you're allowed to curse. Just trying not to. There we go. There's one. So you gotta give one little area a break and throw into another. Now, if these things weren't so dang small, I'd have 5. I'd have at least 4 in that basket already. 7. Okay, so it's about 8:16 here. Thanks, Magoo. Appreciate it. I'm just afraid if I touch my screen to get the time, I'll screw something up. Figure I might as well hang in for a while. I'm already soaked. Can't get much worse. There we go. There's another one. Man, I'm tearing this. Freaking, they must have put a ton of fish in this place. There's another one right there. They must have put a ton in here. Oh, that guy's had enough over there. He's bailing. Either that or he's tired of watching me catch him. That's a pretty decent, that's a fat one there. That's a fat one. I mean, compared to what I've been catching. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Right up personal into the camera. There we are. Look at that thing. He's got like, his fins are all deformed, and you never know what you're going to catch with these things. Oh, there's one. Yep, there's another one. Man, I'm on a roll now. Hey, Matthew, what's up? Matthew, we're trout fishing. And I've caught about 15 or so. I quit counting a while back, but I'm catching a lot, but they're all kind of little. Oh, there's an early release there. Did not expect to be catching this many. I figured I'd catch about, I wanted to keep 5. I figured I'd catch 6 or 7 or 8 maybe if I was lucky, but they must have put an absolute load in here for me to be catching them like this. Oh, I missed that one. Huh. That one was still sitting next to the bank. You see my bobber right there? I don't know if you guys can see that. I don't know how that works. I don't know how well you guys can see. Thanks, Matthew. Appreciate it. This is technically like my second time doing a live thing here, but I did one. I think I went live for like a very brief moment last summer when I was out fishing, but this is like my first actual attempt at trying to be serious. And besides getting drenched by the rain, it went pretty smooth, I gotta say. Might have to do it again. I'm gonna whale a cast way over there towards that bank. I bet you I can catch one over there. There we go. Yeah, there we go. And this feels like another small one. Jeez. Sometimes you hook them, they just swim straight in. And then they do that right when you get up here. But no, that is a very small one. Look at that. Look how small that thing is. Look how little that is. Bob could put that on a hook, and Bob or Steve could put that on a hook and throw it right off that dock in the river and catch a big flathead on that thing. Comes the rain again. I swear, just about the time I start to like feel semi-dry, I get freaking rained on. This is crazy. I'm telling you, Bob, these would be awesome. Some of these things are. You'd have to eat about 10. You'd have to keep about 10 of these to make a decent meal. But I was gonna fillet them too. For about a year now, watching all your catch and cooks, I've been dying for fresh caught, filleted, fried fish. And today was the day I was like, you know what, it's happening. It's happening today. And I come out and I catch 20 dinks. I filleted some trout last year. They're in the freezer, so I could just get those out and use those, I guess. But I was planning on some fresh ones. Oop. That one there, that last one just came, fell in the water. That would have been perfect to put in that little creek by your house. I have a 700, roughly a 700 to 800 gallon patio pond at my house that I built. And thanks, Matthew. I'm not a fan of fishing in the rain. Magoo, I don't ever plan on it, and I certainly didn't think it was going to today, or I would have brought my raincoat a little, But this is very unexpected. But I have a big patio pond that I built. It's like 800 gallons. It's 8 feet long, 6 feet wide, and about 2 feet deep. And I put a trout in there once in the spring, and it lasted about a week and it died. But I have koi's. I'll have to do I only have 2 fish left. This winter was really, really bad, and I think it froze the pond completely, almost solid. I lost like almost all of my fish. But I had like 3 pretty good sized bullheads in it. I had some big koi's and goldfish and bluegills, and I had a bunch of stuff in there. But I tried putting a trout in it once when the water was still cold early in the spring, and it lasted about a week and died. Cast that thing way over there. Yeah, this was weird. All this rain was weird today. Now, last night when I was at home, they were calling for, they were calling for rain the whole night. And I don't think it did more than drizzle a couple times. And this morning I leave the house and there's literally no, dang it, I have another one of this. There was no call for rain, and it's been look at that. I missed like 3 bites already on this one cast. What happened? I'm trying to set the hook immediately, and there's another one. This will be my 4th bite on this cast. Worm's probably dangling off the hook for dear life. Hanging on. Check it out. I can't believe there's nobody else here. And they must have all saw the weather and saw it was supposed to rain. I must have been looking at the weather report for a different day. Well, that sucker way over there. That's why there's nobody here. There's one way over there. Oh, God. I lost him. That was way over there. I don't know how I missed him. That thing take my worm too? What the heck's going on? Oh, broke my line. Oh, that stinks. Yeah. Broke my line. After catching all those, I guess it weakened the line there. Well, I'll do a little retie situation here. My bag's all soaking wet. Now there's none in there. I think one of these worm deals has a jig head on it already. I'll try to take that one. Okay. Let's see here. Some nail clippers in here to cut my line with. Right there. Fold that line up, stick it in the bag. I believe one of these red worms has a head on it already. There it is right there. It's a gold one. get it out of there. Rip it the rest of the way open. There we go. I don't know why I'm whispering. Probably sounds creepy. Put that excess line on top of my bag so I don't forget it. All right. We're back in business. At least for a few minutes. I don't know how much longer I'm going to stay. What am I almost to, let's go. Let's go. Let's catch another one. I actually like this jig head more because this is actually a crappie magnet jig, and the hook shank is a lot longer than a regular crappie magnet or trout magnet. This one here, the hook, it's hard to twist this thing with wet fingers, but I'm doing my best. Okay. Yeah, see, like this is a crappie magnet jig, and the shank is longer by a good bit. When it comes down the hook, you know, that's quite a bit longer than a regular trout magnet. Let's see. Put one right out here. I'll catch one right in front of me here. If the rain would just go away, it would be so much better. I'd be able to tolerate it. There we go. There's one there. Yep, right there. Oh, came off. Son of a gun. I'll get him back. Flip him right out there. I cannot resist. There we go. Come on. I think with all these trout, you'd see at least one big one. When the water's clear when you're fishing here, normally the water's real clear here. It's dirty because we've had a lot of storms, and it muddies real quick because the back of the dam back there is shallow. You can see the schools of fish. They just swim around in here. I mean, right now they're just coming up everywhere. But when the water's clear, you could just stand here, and you'll just see this. And the trout will just be schooled up and swimming all in circles. Still trying to find the concrete walls they came out of. In about a month and a half, this whole thing, probably up until about where I'm standing from here, way down to the left, will all be covered in lily pads. But it is a nice place to come and catch bluegills for bait in the summer. Oh, missed me. I'll stand right over there off of that, right where the little spillway is. Stand right off that bank over there, and you can catch There we go. Oh, missed him again. Oh, look at that. He jumped after he came up the hook. This place is just overrun with little bluegills. I'm losing my touch. If you walk up that hill over there, it's on the other side. Go up through the woods and walk up over. There's a country club up there, and they have ponds that sit on the lower end of the whatever hole it is on the golf course. I'm not sure. My nephew and his buddy used to come out here. Oh, thanks, Courtney. Appreciate it. My nephew and his buddy used to come out here at night, and they would sneak up the hill onto that golf course, either late in the evening or like real early in the mornings. They'd sneak up the hill through the woods to that golf course and throw topwaters. And there we go, there's one. They'd throw topwaters and catch bass up in those ponds. And I knew a guy who was a member up there. He started telling me a story about golfing up there and seeing kids fishing on the golf course. So I said to him, that's funny. I described what my nephew looked like, and he goes, yeah. He goes, I was actually just talking to him the other day. I said, you guys don't throw them out when you catch people sneaking up there to fish? He's like, no, we usually go down and talk to them. Another one. So I told him, I said, well, that one kid's my nephew. I said, so you see him? I said, don't turn him in. Well, Courtney, I'm technically new here too. This is only like my second live stream I've ever done. And it's lasted about an hour and a half longer than my first one did. Well, technically that's not true. I did start twice this morning and couldn't figure it out. And then I finally figured it out and I got started. It's just wild though. I mean, I guess the rain, if people knew it was supposed to rain, that's why there's nobody here. But that guy who was fishing over, he was fishing straight over there. He was here when I got here, and I haven't seen anyone else since. It's crazy. If it gets that warm later, this place will be packed this afternoon. But unfortunately, when those people come this afternoon, the fish won't be biting. It'll be sunny and 80 degrees, and these things, there'll be fish everywhere, but they won't be biting. But this place is so close to town, like, you know, it's like 10 minutes outside of the city I live in. Hey, Kentucky, welcome back. Good. Thanks, Courtney. I hope I'm not talking too much. I've been told before, my old job I used to have to talk on the phone a lot. I managed I was a manager at a grocery store, so I talked on the phone to customers and stuff all the time. And they used to, every older lady who would call in used to always tell me I had a voice for radio. Like, are you on the radio too? I was like, no, I'm not. And they always tell me I had a voice for radio, and I used to tell them I had a face for radio too. I figure if I keep rambling on talking, it's entertaining when I'm not catching a fish. Good. Okay. I don't think I curse too much either. That's pretty shocking. I thought the swearing was really going to be an issue. Well, believe me, if I wouldn't have been on here and that rain would have hit, I would have let the expletives fly. There we go. Oh, missed them. I must have missed as many as I've caught today. You do have a radio voice. Yeah. Well, I missed my calling. I should have either been a professional fisherman or a radio guy. I should have either been Al Linder or Howard Stern. That I sell bread for a living. I'm a bread man. I think I'm going to do another 15 minutes or so and I might pack it. Multiple reasons. I'm soaked. I've caught a lot of fish. I drank a lot of coffee before I left my house this morning, so put that one together for yourself. 3 fish just jumped at the same time. Yeah, I have to sit down. I have to buckle down when I get home and do my freaking taxes. This is the latest of it. I always wait till the last minute. I'm not complaining. I love paying taxes. I love government, YouTube. I'm a big fan. But I always wait till I always wait till the last minute because I know I'm going to owe money. There'll come a point when these things will just completely shut off. It'll like somebody will flip a switch. They'll stop jumping like this. There just won't be, there'll be no sign of life. And I want to leave before that happens because when that happens, I always have to catch another one. Even though I'm not keeping them like I plan to. When they shut off completely, I'll get real hell-bent on catching another one before I leave. Dear God, burping on YouTube. I gotta get my act together. Chewing gum, burping. At least I'm not swearing. Looks like they're specks. Now these are rainbow trout. Hatchery raised 10-inch rainbow trout, courtesy of the state of Pennsylvania. I've caught a couple that might be 11, maybe 1 or 2 that was close to 12, but for the most part, these are small. Nothing like the trout I was catching in the fall. They stock some, I mean, just some great fish in the fall. Not in this place. They don't stock here in the fall, but other they stock around me. Well, the one I go to, I only go to one other one really. I was shocked. The first fish I caught was like 15 inches. I'm like, oh, you don't catch too many 15-inch trout. And every one I caught was the same size. I was blown away. Blown away. They must have dumped a couple extra. They must have spilled some extra feed into the hatchery things. There we go. There's one. Boy, that's a little one again. Jesus. From the south. We're at in the south. Yeah, trout are cold water fish. I guess there wouldn't be too many in the south. This one isn't too bad. I thought it was a lot smaller than it was on the hit. And I quit counting, so whenever I leave, I'm just going to say I caught 20. Jeez. My hand's too slimy from catching and releasing them. I'll hold on to them. Yeah, trout fishing's big in Pennsylvania. It's big in Pennsylvania for about 2 months out of the year. Maybe not even that. About 4 or 5 weeks in the spring, and then they stock places in the fall, and it has a little resurgence. Cichlids. Oh yeah, I've seen guys on YouTube going out and catching them cichlids, and I guess it's in Florida or somewhere I was watching. There are piles of them. I guess that's from people catching them and like letting them go in there, like letting their pets go or something. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Bob would know. He's been down there a couple times catching them. I've seen cichlids in person, but they were all at the pet store. South Florida. Yeah, you got all those canals and bays and little anywhere there's water in Pittsburgh. Yeah, in Pittsburgh, in Florida, there's fish. I remember would be down on vacation. Would be like my mom would want to stop at like a little shopping center or something like that. We'd pull over and there'd be like one of those ponds out next to the parking lot, and I'd walk over and I'd walk up and there'd be fish in it. Like anything that had water had fish in it. It was crazy. Like you'd walk up a parking lot like at a mall outlet or something, and there'd be like one of those little rectangular little ponds. No, you're good, Bob. They You'd walk up and there'd be fish in it. I'd be like, what the heck? Like how they're fishing this thing. Here in Pennsylvania, where I'm from, you walk up to one of those little pond things on the side of the parking lot or something. You're gonna walk up. There's gonna be a milk crate and a shopping cart in it. Did you catch anything else, Bob? Or you still just got that one carp? You said you moved spots. I remember that. I seen Skeeter went fishing. He was trout fishing yesterday morning, and he had a couple, and then he left. I imagine maybe he was just catching them for bait. And he was at the river last night fishing. I think he caught 2 channel cats up to what I saw. I don't think Bob is live unless he went after he moved spots. He wasn't to start with. Yeah, yeah. Bob said he's out checking out some new spots. So you can imagine within the next couple of days he'll be on a good spot somewhere. Why is it so hard to leave a place? You know, when you're catching fish and you're soaking wet, you just figure you should leave. Why is it so hard to leave? Boy, the one lake I still fish it all the time. Shawnee Lake here in Bedford County. It's like my favorite. It's like my home away from home. I've spent more time at that lake than anywhere probably my whole life. And the carp out there, there's a one spot. It's not as good anymore because some of the landscape changed and stuff. But I used to in the spring we'd go there every Saturday fishing through from like May straight through the summer, fall. And there was one spot that was guaranteed. I'd just go back there and put a couple rods out, and it was either you'd catch big carp or you'd catch catfish or something. It was always so fun. I missed that one. There's some tanks in there. I mean, Bob, you want to see some huge, big carp? I mean, this place has got some carp in it that'll just, they're jaw dropping. They're so big. I mean, we want to hear the biggest carp I've ever caught. Waiting for that one bite. Yeah, that's what it is, Morgan. It's like you catch 20, and then you're always like, I'll catch one more. I'll catch one more. Biggest carp I ever caught. I was at Shawnee Lake fishing, and I was using that one took my worm too. Jeez, we'll try one more here, and then we're gonna bail. I'm gonna put a pink one back on. I was using a 7.5 foot heavy action bait casting rod, casting for muskies. I was using a 7-inch blue and silver Rapala, like a floating Rapala. It was in the fall. I was casting it around the one bridge. I was waiting, and I kid you not, I hooked the biggest carp I've ever caught on it, right in the mouth. Now I can't say for sure that carp actually hit that Rapala, but it was hooked in the mouth. And I thought for sure I had a muskie on. And I was fighting it. I remember my brother was on the other side of the bridge, and he came over, and I'm like, I said, man, I got a carp are fun as hell to catch. Uh, and I thought, man, this has got to be a muskie. And I got it up, and it was a gigantic carp. I literally could not believe it. It was hooked in the mouth. The only thing I could figure is that the carp maybe swam over top of the Rapala as it was coming in and kind of, snagged itself, but it was hooked right in the mouth. It was crazy. I mean, my brother was there. He saw it. Like it was almost, we had to get a stick to stick in its mouth. Like we put the stick in it to poke the treble hook off. I mean, it was crazy. I thought for sure that was a muskie when I set the hook. And probably to this day, it's the biggest carp I've ever caught on a 7-inch Rapala. Yeah, Bob, I figured that's what had to have happened because the shoreline I was fishing on, I was wading out around this edge, and it was like a little drop off. And I was pulling that Rapala right along the edge of the drop off. And there were carp that used to hang there, and they would, as you're walking, sometimes you'd see them dart away. And I'm figuring I just pulled it right through the right spot, but nobody believed me. Like, we walked up the road back up to the other place where we were like kind of stationed at, and I said to my, yeah, maybe, you're probably right. I said to my dad, he's like, you catch anything? I was like, yeah. I was like, I caught a giant carp. And he goes, on what? And I go, this. And he's like, no, you didn't. He goes, you snag it? And I was like, it wasn't hooked in the mouth. Because out there in the fall, they would drain that lake in the fall every couple years to kill weeds and stuff. And we used to catch tons of bass and stuff out there walking the shoreline throwing rattle traps. And you'd occasionally catch you would snag carp. They were so thick in there, you'd snag them like on the dorsal fins and on the like pectoral fins and stuff when you're throwing a rattle trap. So I figured it was just the perfect scenario, happened, and I snagged that. I mean, you can imagine me, I'm fighting that thing for a while before I got it up, thinking like when it broke the surface it was going to be a muskie. When it came up and I saw it was a carp, I was like, I expected it could have been anything but a carp. Bass, muskie, walleye, pike, whatever. And it was a huge carp. Oh, my line slips down when I miss one. I don't think I'm twisting this thing enough to keep it in place. It's hard to twist when your hands are wet. These bobbers are pretty cool. If I could just get it to stay in place. There we go. That's better. I think I have it on upside down too, but it will. Yeah, I'm telling you, it was crazy. The Juniata River, Bob, if you ever heard of that, it's the river that flows. It's basically the river that was dammed up to make Raystown Lake, because the Juniata River comes from just south of me in Bedford County, down around where the Shawnee Lake is, and it flows over through Bedford and Everett, and that's the river that was dammed up to make Raystown Lake, because the Juniata River comes out of Raystown at the bottom end too, and flows down through Huntington out to Mount Union and stuff. And guys fishing that river, they catch a lot of carp on crayfish. I always call them crabs, but yeah, it's excellent smallmouth fishing. Smallmouth the Juniata River is loaded with smallmouths. It has catfish, channel cats, muskies. The lower end towards Harrisburg, where it dumps into the Susquehanna, that lower end of the Juniata from like Mount Union, Huntington area, going down towards Harrisburg, has flatheads in it too. But guys who fish that river, they catch a lot of carp on crayfish. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Bob, that would be an awesome. You guys that go up there and float your kayaks down through, I'm telling you, like, I can even tell you the area, man. If you would put in like you could put your, well, I mean, there's plenty of Juniata River down towards Harrisburg too, but like the part that I used to fish from like Mount Union, you could put in around Mount Union and float down to Newton Hamilton. That would, you, fishing in through there, that area is just awesome. We used to go out there every year, or every when we kind of quit going to the Shawnee so much, the lake, and we would go to the Juniata, and it was all wade fishing. We had a big blow up raft. We used to keep all our gear in the raft, and we'd tow it up into the middle of the river and anchor the raft, and we just fish it like our tackle box and cooler, and all our gear would sit in the raft, and then we'd just go out and wade all around it. We'd catch tons of fish. I mean, tons. Smallmouths, channel cats, walleyes. The rock bass population's taken a hit. It used to be loaded with rock bass. There we go, there's one. Finally. Finally, I caught 20, and I say finally. You get greedy when you're catching fish. That's an awesome river to float. Especially you guys having those kayaks. Oh my God, you'd have a blast. There we go, there's another one. Yeah, that would be, just talking about it's making me want to go back out there. It's only about it's about an hour and a half drive to the area that I'm talking about from my house out to this place. I haven't been there in a few years. I should go back this year. Ooh, look at that snake. Check it out. See the snake? A water snake there, whatever, cruising by. There he goes, right there. He came out of nowhere. That water snake just caused me a bite too. You'd love it, I'm telling you. You would love it. That's, if there's any fishing that's close by, if there's any fishing, Bob, that's close by to me, that would be right up your alley. That would be that river. I'm telling you. It's a place you could float down and fish off your kayaks and stuff, and there'd be plenty of places to like pull over and, you know, make a lunch or fish, you know, walk up and down the banks. I mean, it's like it's a pretty awesome river. Sticky snake. Hey, Zyros. Welcome in, Zyros. My first real official attempt at doing a live fishing thing. I've caught about 15 or so rainbow trout. Yeah, well, that's when we used to fish it. I'll tell you, like, the best fishing we used to do there used to be through like June and through July. Like, when it gets blown out from rain, it does suck. But through the summer, it's perfect. There's guys right now going there hammering smallmouths. I mean, I see them, you know, certain guys I follow and see on like Facebook groups. There's a Juniata River, I believe there's a Juniata River Facebook group I'm on. Those guys are catching smallmouths right now. Oh, dang it, I missed them. But I'm telling you, nice ones too. I mean, these guys are catching, you know, 2-3 pound fish. You know, Bob, I was wondering about how long it's been. It's been a while. 3-4 years probably. If I remember correctly, I think watching Anything Is Possible on YouTube is what got me through the second half of COVID. It's been about that long, I think, hasn't it? I was watching Bob when he still had his other job, and he'd leave his house in the morning, stop at a local lake, probably I guess one of the lakes you still fish now, and you'd fish for like an hour or two in the morning before you went into work. You'd be sitting there with your rods out, watching all the traffic heading down to work. Feels nice now that the rain, now that the pouring down rain quit. I should probably stand here and fish until at least until I dry off a little bit. I think you're a 3-year member, but that's only because I started memberships 3 years ago. 6 years. Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, things are slowing down now, that's for sure. Yeah, I was really bummed I couldn't come to that meetup. Last year I didn't really have there was just no chance last year, but this year, like I said, I specifically took, I always take a vacation in April, but I moved it forward. I usually take the following week, but I took Saturday off and took this week off. Just didn't have any luck. I have 2 dogs. My one dog's 14, the other one's 12, and he's having all sorts of issues. I just had him at the vet on Monday, and they think he might be having a touch of sundown syndrome, like kind of like like Alzheimer's almost for dogs, where like he gets real anxious at night, paces the house, he can't relax, he like pants real bad, and he had 2 surgeries in October. We had 2 big fishing off a sewage pier right now, pretending I'm in Florida outside. That's funny. Uh, he had 2 surgeries to have 2 big non-cancerous tumors removed, and they took a lot out of him, but he had to have it done, and he just wasn't a good time to take off for a couple of days. Let's go fishing. Hey Ron, you, what's up? Oh yeah, yeah. Well, my ex was gonna come up. She lives in Pittsburgh now, and she was gonna actually come up for 2 days and stay. But before I was able to decide on whether or not I was actually gonna be able to do it or not, I let the time go, and she had to end up having to work on Saturday and stuff. So she kept telling me every day, because we talk on the phone she calls me every day when she's driving home from work, and she says, you should just go, I'll come up, I'll stay Saturday. But as weird as it is, I mean, she lived with those dogs for probably the first 5 or 6 years. I'm one of those weirdos, I don't trust people to take care of my animals. Thanks for all you guys hanging out. Can't believe it's been over 2 hours already. I think I'm going to catch one more and then leave. I think I said that 20 minutes ago, but this is legit now. If I catch one more, I'm going to catch one more fish, and I'm going to shut her down here and consider this a great success. Yeah, unfortunately, my next spot's going to be Planet Fitness. I've been eating like I've been on vacation these last 4 or 5 days too, so I gotta get over there. And where am I at? I'm in Western Pennsylvania, Rania. This is a little state stock dam that's about 20 minutes from my house, and I caught somewhere between 15 to 20 rainbow trout this morning. It's getting nice out now, but it poured down rain like 3 or 4 times, so I'm completely wet. I see that snake's way over there now. I don't know if you could see that out there. Probably not because of the glare, but that snake's way over there now. I can see him coming across the top. Unless it's a different one. I guess that could be a different one. I've seen plenty of turtles here. I've never seen snakes before. South Florida, Lake Okeechobee. Oh, man. I remember one time watching a Roland Martin's television show, and he was out bass fishing on Lake Okeechobee, and he caught two of the biggest bass I had ever seen. And then his son rolled up on a pontoon. He anchored his boat, left it there. He anchored his bass boat, left it there, and he got on his pontoon with his son. I guess it was his son or his wife maybe, and they went and fished for bluegills or shell crackers, whatever they call them. And he was catching some of the biggest bluegills I've ever seen in my life. I've watched that. I watched Roland Martin's show so much. I still remember the theme song word for word. Yeah, there's a Kissimmee Fishing Live or something. They have a YouTube. I can't remember the name of it. It's Kissimmee something. Two guys who have they have a channel, and they fish. They were fishing for crappies for a while, and I think they've changed over to the shell crackers. I forget the name. It's Kissimmee something. Kissimmee Special, yes. Yeah, those guys are pretty good. I like watching them. They were fishing for crappies for a while, and now I think they've changed over. But there's a funny story. The guy I bought my pickup truck off of, he's a tournament bass fisherman. He actually fished in a tournaments with a lot of those guys from back in the day. And he fished with Roland Martin. And I told him how much I liked watching Roland Martin's TV show. And he told me Roland Martin is not the same guy in person that you see on TV. I'll just leave it at that. He said there's a lot of cutthroat guys in the tournament bass fishing world. He said back in his day, he said Roland Martin was one of the toughest. He fished with Roland Martin and all those guys. Come on, one more here and then get the heck out of here. Of course, as soon as the sun comes out. He said Roland Martin was the way he described him, I'm being nice by saying cutthroat. Yeah, he said Roland Martin was the type of guy that would allegedly used to purposely sabotage, other people's stuff. Allegedly. He'd do whatever it took. This guy told me a lot of stuff about these tournament guys. He told me a lot of stuff about them. He's not this guy. This guy I know isn't. He's not like one of the famous guys or anything like that. Like he was, a lower level guy. He fishes a lot of tournaments around here, but he knew all those guys and met them all. He did tell me there were some that were like, super nice guys. He said a guy like Roland Martin, if there was a tournament coming up at a certain lake somewhere, Roland Martin would camp out at a boat launch a week before the tournament and talk to every single guy coming in and off the lake. He'd go out and watch every single guy fishing on the lake. So well, it looks pretty fun on TV. I don't know. I suppose so. Bob. Yeah, look, that sun come out, rain stopped, and look, all the action's quitting. I'm going to give this 3 minutes, and then I'm going to bail. I do have to get a couple things accomplished today. It's probably going to take me 2 hours to sit at my computer and do my taxes, so I should make an attempt at that. Oh, there was a whole schedule of those guys, man. I remember Roland Martin used to come on first, I think, and was it Orlando Wilson was on him at the same time. It was either Orlando Wilson would come on, then Roland Martin, or vice versa. They were on, back in the day, they were on TBS. Then you had the in fishermen, and my dad's favorite fishing show was always Jerry McInnes in the fishing hole. And I used to tell my dad, well, Jerry McInnes goes out fishing. He doesn't catch any fish though. He'd go out on a whole show and he'd catch 2 fish. And my dad was like, that's why I like him. He said these other guys are all full of it. Jerry McInnes. Two minutes. Boy, the sun really feels good, I'll say that, after being soaked. At least I dried off a little bit. Yeah, see what I tell you. You throw a switch in this place and they just all turn. It's like they're all on the same wavelength. You throw a switch and they all quit biting, they quit jumping. As soon as that sun gets up that high this time, you forget about it. Make this like my last. Hey Skeeter, what's up, buddy? Yeah, Skeeter trout fishing now for about 2 hours, a little over 2 hours. I think I caught somewhere between 15 or 20, something like that. I'm about ready to bail here. I just saw a couple more jump over this way, so I'll launch a castaway out there and see what happens. Yeah, I did pretty well, Skeeter. I caught the same trout, I think 15 to 20 times. I did plan on keeping some, but size. Ike and Ellie, he may have been one of the guys that he told me was a decent guy. I forget, there was one of those real popular guys. I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was Kevin Van Dam. He told me one of those guys, not one of the guys who's fishing now. He's one of the guys who was big, probably 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Denny Brower, I can't remember, but he did mention a couple of them that were real super nice guys. Ike and Ellie, I used to watch his show. He was crazy. He'd be flipping out, catching fish, screaming. He was always interesting to watch in those tournaments too. They did have the Bassmasters Classic here. They had the Bassmasters Classic in Pittsburgh that one year. I didn't go to watch it or anything like that, but they had some tough fishing. I remember that. I think they were there right in the heat of summer. It was right in the middle of summer. They had the Bassmasters Classic on the Three Rivers. Kevin Van Dam won, and it was not an impressive stringer of fish that those guys were catching. They were all smallmouths, and they were having a hell of a time catching decent sized fish. I think that proved how good of a fisherman Kevin Van Dam was, that he was able to catch what he did in them rivers in that time of year back then. All right, my time is up. All right, folks. I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks for coming in and watching me on my maiden voyage here. Maybe I'll do it again sometime. Pretty good morning. Hey, Clint, how are you guys doing? Thanks for hanging out. 17 people in here now. Did pretty well. I think I caught between 15 and 20 trout. Pretty nice, so... Thanks, Bob. Thanks for hanging out the whole time. Skeeter, everybody else who's here. I appreciate it. We'll see you guys. Sure, I'll probably see Bob later on, or Skeeter will be on fishing later, there's no doubt. So, catch you guys later. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Have a good day. Yeah, that would be awesome, guys. Thanks, Skeeter. Sure was, Whisker. Appreciate you guys for hanging out. Thanks a lot. I'm going to head out of here now and go up to the parking lot here and change my shirts. So I better shut this off. Thanks, guys.